Hey everyone. We decided that we should probably make a video because we have been kind of MIA for a little while now.
Since like before December, basically.
Yeah, we've been behind on Instagram, if you follow us on Instagram, and we've been posting some YouTube videos, but they have been
They're from like months ago.
Yeah.
So
we just want to fill everyone in on where we've been and why we've been kind of off the grid lately. So it's kind of a long story, so we figured we'd make a YouTube video explaining it.
As well as a YouTube video explaining this. I lost a tooth. My front tooth is gone. I have one front tooth. So,
let's start with the van.
Yeah, we'll start with the van and get to what happened. As if you've seen some of our Instagrams, you're like, wait, he had two teeth. He now has one.
Yes.
So what happened?
I have
we'll
them all,
get there.
though. So.
We'll get there. Katie still looks beautiful.
Yeah, you still look beautiful too.
Thank you.
So the van, we were in New Jersey, which if you saw on our Instagram, we were having van troubles in New Jersey in like November. And we took the van into the Ram dealer because we had purchased the van brand new. So it only had like 30,000 miles, less than 30,000 miles, around 30,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
When we took it to the Ram dealer in November, and we had to take it there basically because we were driving.
Started dying.
Yeah, and as we were driving, the van just every time we came to a complete stop, it would just shut off. And so we basically just like rolled into the nearest Ram dealer, and they said that we needed a new transmission.
And this was on a work day as well, so
it's very overwhelming.
Yeah, we like rolled in, and then we went into the Ram dealer and worked a full day from the Ram dealer, which very nice Ram dealer, honestly.
It was like the nicest Ram dealer I've ever been to. It's brand new. And they had coffee and stuff, so that was a pro. And the people were really nice, but generally they said it was going to be like a few months to get a transmission, but then they were able to find one, which was amazing. And they were able to replace it in like a few days.
Yeah, luckily we were, one of my best friends lives in New Jersey, in Ramsey, where we were at, and we stayed with him and his family for, it ended up being like 2 weeks, basically.
So thank you, Sebastians.
Yeah, they allowed us to stay there while our van was being worked on, but it only took about 3 days for them to actually get the new transmission and put it into the van.
Yes, so we got the new transmission. It was working great. We drove from New Jersey up to Vermont for our honeymoon, and then from Vermont we drove back to Chicago over like a few days for the holidays. And when we got back to Chicago, we noticed that the transmission was acting up again because basically the same thing started to happen. It was catching. So we took it to another Ram dealer. They said we need to replace the transmission again because the third gear had failed in the new transmission, and that it was going to be a few months for us to wait for a new transmission because of all of the supply chain issues that were going on. So we had to wait 3 months. It was almost 3 months to the day.
I think it was more than, well, we got there like a couple weeks before. We got there early December.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up getting our van back December, January to February to March. Yeah, 3 months.
Yep. So, and that was just because all these transmissions were like on super back order, and so couldn't get a new one for that amount of time. Once they actually got the part, they were able to replace it pretty quickly. But thankfully, my awesome in-laws, Bryce's dad and Stephanie, who we lived with when we built the van, they helped us build the van, if you guys remember, let us stay with them, and we lived there for a while
again.
awesome. I got to spend a lot of time with family. Got to see my parents, and they helped us out a bunch too. So it was really solid to have family to fall back on when we really, really needed it. So thank you, family.
Yes, thank you.
That would have been bad. So
luckily we broke down in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I theoretically we just would have like packed our stuff up into bags. We would have gone and bought some bags, packed up our stuff, and then flown back home.
Yeah.
But
or just lived in the van at the dealer maybe. But like the problem was that once it was broken down, we had no way to get more propane. And this was like it stayed in this parking lot through the winter of Chicago. So it was like very cold and snowy. But generally we ran out of propane, so we couldn't keep the van heated. And we tried to kind of like winterize it the best we could by just basically emptying all of our water tanks as we were broken down at the Ram dealer. But we weren't able to empty all of the water out. So once we actually got the van back, there was like a lot of things that we had to fix. So keep that in mind if you're ever leaving your van, if you have one, or like RV or anything like that unwinterized. You got to winterize it. Like we had to replace our water heater, we had to replace our water filter, and we had to fix 2 faucets that were leaking because generally all this stuff isn't supposed to just freeze and sit there for 3 months. So,
but luckily it's back working.
Yeah.
As you can see, we are back here in our van.
It just took a lot. Yeah. And then also the windshield got cracked at the dealers, so we had to replace the windshield.
It was a whole thing.
It's been an adventure.
It was a whole thing.
But we were very lucky to have a lot of people that supported us through the whole situation and helped us, and we're super thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're super thankful to have our home back and to be back on the road. So generally, you know, life sometimes throws you some curveballs, but you just gotta work through it, and we worked through it together, which was huge. Yeah.
I think that's it for the van.
Yeah, that's it for the van. I'm sure you guys want to know what happened to Bryce's.
Yeah. So yeah, we're back in the van and we're traveling again, but I am missing a tooth. So what happened there? What happened was in high school, I got my tooth knocked out wrestling at practice one day. And this was junior year in high school.
Bryce wrestled like his whole life from the age of 5 all the way through college. He went to Northwestern. He wrestled in college too till he had to medically retire. We'll save that story for another day, but generally he wrestled a lot.
So junior year practice one day, tooth, boom, knocked out, the whole thing, like root and everything. And when that thing comes out, it's pretty long. I was very shocked. Goes flying across the mat. I was like, oh God, that's not good. So basically put it in milk. My coach drove me to my dentist. They put the tooth back in and basically, come to find out, did more of like a partial root canal. Didn't fully do like the full thing. So
because apparently you need to make 2 appointments for a root canal. You're supposed to go in like originally and do like the first thing they have to do for the root canal, and you're supposed to go back. You never went back.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. So it's been fine. Like my tooth ended up like being fine. It was like a little different, like it was like jutting out a little bit like compared to the other one, so it wasn't like perfectly straight or anything, but like
it worked. Like it worked great.
Yeah, like 10 years ago. It's been fine for 10 years. So we come back for Christmas. We're here, and I'm like, you know what? Well, Katie was like, you know what? You should really go to the dentist.
I mean, he hadn't gone to the dentist in a while. I feel like that's a nice thing to do as a wife, to be like, you know, you should go to the dentist.
So I go to the dentist, and they're like, oh, when's the last time we took x-rays? So they take x-rays, and they're like, it looks like your tooth is resorbing a little bit. They're like, you need to go see an endodontist, I believe, endodontist. So I'm like, okay. Now I have to schedule this meeting with this appointment with an endodontist. Go to the endodontist, and they're like, yeah, we are going to just clean it up a little bit and like fill it in a little bit more to hopefully help it not resorb, and you'll be able to have this tooth for at least another like hopefully like 10, 20 years, and then eventually you'll have to get an implant. I'm like, okay. So they go in, they like do whatever. It's like fine. 2 months later, all of a sudden, terrible pain in my mouth. I'm like, this is like literally the worst pain I've ever had. I got an infection, took some antibiotics, didn't go away. And they were like, yikes, we have to actually do the implant now. So then I had to set up an appointment with the surgeon, who had to take out the tooth and do a bone graft. So the whole process for an implant, if you can do an immediate implant, it's maybe like 3 to 4 months. They put in the implant right away. You have to let it heal for like 4 months, and then they do the crown. For me, because I had trauma and stuff, they had to do a bone graft, which I have to let heal for about 4 months, and then I have to go back. So I'm going to have to fly back to Chicago in 4 months, in August, for them to check if the bone graft worked. If it did, they'll be able to put the implant in, which I will then have to let heal for another 3 to 4 months, and then I will again have to fly back for them to put the crown on. If the bone graft didn't work, I will have to have another bone graft in August, which will have to heal for 4 months. Then I will have to fly back, get an implant to heal for another 4 months, and then get the crown. So I'm going to be looking like this for at least till November or December.
I think everyone can agree he looks awesome, right? He looks really good.
I look sweet.
So that's a win. And none of this would have happened if I didn't tell Bryce to go to the dentist.
That's why you don't go.
No, go to the dentist. Going to the dentist is good. This would have happened even if he didn't go to the dentist.
Yeah, it just happened because I got it knocked out, and eventually the tooth just gives up.
Yeah.
Got infected, and just is what it is. But like, honestly, I don't even care how it looks. What's the most annoying is just trying to like swallow and eat food like normal. Much more difficult. I would love to just be able to like eat a hot dog like regular, or like have a bite of like just like grab a piece of pizza and just bite it.
But it's only been 2 weeks, so you're just getting the hang of it still. But you guys can all get used to seeing Bryce with one tooth. We're still going to make content. He still looks awesome.
I do look sick.
I feel like, you know.
So yeah, that's where we're at. We have our van back. I've lost a tooth, but we're still rocking and rolling. We're back on the road, traveling, and we're going to ideally be putting out more content. And we're back.
Yeah,
so
we're rolling with the punches. So yeah, that's it. Reminder that if you would like to support us and help Bryce get a new tooth, because now we have a lot of dental bills, feel free to check out our merch. We still have it on Teespring. We'll put a link in the description. We got lots of cool stuff, shirts, sweatpants, all kinds of cool stuff that can totally help support us. So feel free to check it out, and thanks for sticking along with us through this. You know, we're all rolling through the punches together. Hopefully you guys are having some better luck than we've been having lately, but
we can only go up from here.
Yeah, and we're really happy to be back on the road, back in our van, and back exploring the world with all of you. So,
and if you haven't subscribed yet and you're new to the channel and you're like, who's this crazy dude with one tooth,
subscribe.
Just subscribe and follow along and find out who we are.